Hey everybody, welcome to Healthy Musicians, the YouTube channel series where we apply holistic health concepts into creating music. My name is Denise Natoli, and on this week's episode, we are going to discuss finding your authentic sound.
Girl, where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're going? Girl, where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're going?
Tip number 1, don't try to sound like somebody else. No matter how much you admire your favorite artists or people in your life that you think are incredibly talented, or the influences that you had growing up, that is all well and good. And use that and pull from that and learn. But do not try to sound like these people. A lot of the time this happens subconsciously, trying to sound like somebody else. Next thing you know, you're listening to an artist a lot, or you've been working with another artist a lot, and then you're like, oh, I really like the way, he or she does this, and she creates that sound with her voice, or he has that vibrato that I just really want to mimic. I want to get that. Keep reminding yourself, just sound like you. It's like a constant thing that I have to remind myself too. So the song that we're going to be discussing this episode and the cover that you're going to see at the end of this episode is Lady Gaga's Joanne.
Take my hand, stay Joanne, heaven's not ready for you.
This song is really different from most of Lady Gaga's music, and she talks about this in her documentary 5'2" that's on Netflix. Highly recommend. It was really good, really intense, but really eye-opening. And my favorite part of the documentary was when she talks about the writing of Joanne, and she shows her grandmother for the first time. She wrote it about her aunt who passed when she was a teenager. So Lady Gaga didn't know this person, didn't know her aunt, but it deeply affected her father, because this was her father's sister, and obviously her grandmother, because this was her grandmother's daughter. I think it just speaks to, a lot of things, but one of which being artists just feel things so deeply. And even though, Lady Gaga wasn't there for this, she was really able to embody that feeling really well. The feeling of, somebody leaving you prematurely, somebody leaving this earth prematurely, someone that didn't deserve it. All of those feelings that we go through when we lose a loved one.
If you could, I know that you'd stay. We both know things don't work that way. I promised I wouldn't say goodbye, so I grin and my voice gets thin.
The documentary, really hit home, and that's why I wanted to learn that song. Lady Gaga is amazing, and she has just such strong vocals, so it's easy to try to mimic her. I was practicing a lot of the music from A Star Is Born, practicing this song, and then I was like, I need to remind myself to sound like me and not sound like Lady Gaga. Don't try to sound like somebody else. Sound like you.
Girl, where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're going? Girl, where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're going? Girl.
So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is that it's healthier to sound like you. When you're trying to sound like somebody else, you're physically altering your anatomy without even necessarily knowing it. It can be subconscious or it can be conscious. When we're trying to sound like somebody else, like, oh, I want to get that high note out, just like Ariana Grande, or I want to get that vibrato, like that raspy sound out, just like John Mayer, you are subconsciously altering your body and your voice in ways that it wasn't meant to be altered. And that's not healthy. This is a really important concept too, and it kind of piggybacks off the first one. So This is Finding Your Authentic Sound. If you'd like to see how I apply these tips into the song Joanne, click that link to see the full cover. As always, thanks so much for listening. Please click that subscribe button below and comment if you have any thoughts on this. I'd love to hear them. Have a great day. Bye.